GRIGORI GRABOVOI, Patent Information Carrying System in Realization of Eternal Development. Translation from Russian into English was made by Permanent Creation 2013. 8 pages. The system of conversion of thought into luminous radiation, which appears during thinking and concentrations in the process of use of the works of Grigori Grabovoi for transfer of information for the purpose of normalizing, control, and training, is protected by patent for invention of Grigori Grabovoi information carrying system. The patent specification mentions that it follows from the theory of wave synthesis and laws of quantum mechanics that a thought converted into radiation can simultaneously have 2 quantum states. See Grigori Grabovoi, Isledovania, and so on. That's the patent. I will insert it afterwards. Here it is. Research and analysis of fundamental definitions of optical systems in prevention of catastrophes and forecast-oriented control of microprocesses. Electronic Engineering Series 3 Microelectronics 1999. The declared information carrying system works in the following way. Man who generates thought acts as an operator, is not indicated, that transmits information. Thus, transfer of data with the help of thought to any system has been patented out. This makes it possible to direct normalizing radiation of thought formed by the works of Grigori Grabovoi in the field of organism and environment into the field of eternal development and to create eternal life in this way. Patent specification for invention of Grigori Grabovoi information carrying system number 2163419 of 20th February 2001 is available in the internet at the official site of the Federal Service of Russia for Intellectual Property, Patents and Trademarks. Information carrying system. The invention relates to communication engineering and can be used in the systems of wireless transmission of information. The technical result includes the increase of serviceability to the system with simultaneously increase of its interference immunity. In the proposed system, the transmitter of signals contains a sensing unit which consists of spherical sensing elements manufactured from glass, which by means of glue connections are rigidly fixed on the supporting element and installed on its spherical module manufactured in the form of a glass sphere with sensing elements fixed in it. The sensing elements are produced in the form of identical cubes made of crystal. The receiver of signals is spaced from a transmitter and contains, similar to the equivalent components, sensing unit, and spherical module spaced from it, which is supplied with the device of conversion of radiation into output signals. The diameter of all sensing elements which form a part of any sensing unit must be different, for example, gradually increase. With transmission of information, the operator activates the sensing elements of the transmitter of signals, then practically instantly radiation of activation is reproduced in the sensing elements of the receiver of signals and is normalized by the sensing elements of the spherical module. The outgoing normalized radiation is converted by the sensor into electrical signals, and after working in the processor, the transmitted information enters the recorder.
Okay, description of the invention. Invention relates to the field of communication engineering and can be used in the information carrying system, which uses wireless connection between the transmitter and the receiver of information, mainly for transmission of information to significant distances, thousands of kilometers. The closest, according to the technical essence, to the declared one is information carrying system, which contains transmitting block, which includes a supporting element with rigidly fixed on it transmitters of signals, and spaced from it receiving block, which consists of supporting element with rigidly fixed on it receivers of signals, and the device, which converts radiation into output signals. See patent RF number 2111617 CLH 04B10-00. The system uses laser beams as a communications channels between the transmitter and the receiver of signals. Each transmitter of signals is manufactured in the form of a laser generator with the device of the modulation of the laser beam by the data signal connected with the source of the data signals. Each receiver of signals is manufactured in the form of a photo receiving device and a device which converts the received laser modulated radiation into electrical data signals. The disadvantage of this data transmission system is its low serviceability caused by complexity of the construction of the system that includes a big number of complex transmitters and receiver of signals with multifunctional connections and complex systems of precise guidance with moving elements. When information is transmitted by means of this system between located at significant distances from one another transmitter and receiver of signals, for example, with the transmission of information to thousands of kilometers, the use of an automatic spacecraft with a retransmitter, the delay of transmission of information might be tenths of a second. This system has insufficient interference immunity since as any obstacle appears on the line of laser communication, interferences in the work of the system or disruption of the transferred signals takes place. The objective of this invention is to increase serviceability of the information carrying system with the simultaneous guarantee of transmission of information without delays and an increase of the interference immunity system of the system. Achievement of the indicated objective is ensured by the new information carrying system, which consists of a transmitter of signals and a receiver of signals spaced from it, with a sensing unit in each of them. The sensing unit is made in the form of sensing elements of spherical form, which have different diameters and are rigidly fixed on the surface of the supporting element and in the spherical module, manufactured in the form of a glass sphere with sensing elements distributed in it and in one direction. And displaced in two manually perpendicular planes. The sensing elements are manufactured in the form of identical cubes made of crystal. Moreover, the elements of the transmitter are similar to the elements of the sensing elements are manufactured in the form of identical cubes made of crystal. Moreover, the elements of the transmitter are similar to the elements of the receiver of signals. The spherical module of the transmitter of signals is located on the surface of the supporting element. The spherical module of the receiver of signals is spaced from its sensing unit and is supplied with the device of the conversion of radiation into output signals. In this case, it is preferable to distribute evenly the spherical sensing elements on the surface of the supporting element, with the centers of these elements placed in parallel planes. Place the image of a certain letter of all letters of the alphabet, either the image of a certain number of the entire series or natural numbers, or the image of a certain symbol on the surface of the supporting element of the transmitter of signals close to each spherical sensing element. Locate on the surface of the supporting element the spherical sensing elements in the form of identical rows. Manufacture the spherical sensing elements with the gradually increased diameters. Manufacture the device of conversion of radiation into output signals in the form of a sensor, connected by means of an optical fiber with the cube of the spherical module, which is the outermost from the sensing unit of the radiation detector. Connect the sensor with the amplifier with a processor connected to its output. The present invention is based on the similarity principle determined by the author, which is based on the developed by the author theory of wave synthesis in combination with formula of general reality. See the Doctors of Physics and Mathematics thesis by Grigori Grabovoi. Research and analysis fundamental definitions of optical systems for forecast of earthquakes and catastrophes of production facilities. Moscow, Publishing House of the Russian Academy of Natural Sciences, 1999, pages 9 to 19. In accordance with the theory of wave synthesis, the reality can be considered as periodic intersection of stationary areas with dynamic ones. In this case, the synthesis of the dynamic wave with the stationary one takes place in the zones of intersection. Any phenomena of reality can be determined in the form of optical systems, and since the perception of man is achieved by image elements of light which contain information with the transmission of information at the first stage from man generating transferred information to the optical sensing element receiving information, man can be considered as a peculiar transmitting optical system. The transferred information generated by the thoughts of the operator man is received by the optical sensing element, to which the operator directs generated by him thought. There are different optical devices, for example, the apparatus Camera 3000, which makes it possible to record a change in the aura of a man. See Comcov, BN, sensory biopoli, I aura, the senses of biofield and aura. Electronic Engineering Series 3, Microelectronics, 1999, Issue 1, 153, page 23. Since the thought is a part of aura, it can be transmitted in the form of an element, a weak optical system. It is preferable to make the receiving information sensing element in the form of a sphere, since this is exactly the spherical form of the sensing element that contributes to the maximum activation of the sensing element due to internal reflection. Radiation of the activated sensing elements of the spherical form is light. In this case, individual characteristics of this radiation will correspond to each operator who transmits information, and this determines high interference protection of the declared system. The achievement of individual activation of the sensing elements of spherical form is ensured due to the use of a set of elements, which have different diameters to determine that the difference in radiation emitted by different elements. It is preferable to use a set of sensing elements of spherical form, the diameters of which gradually increase. The number of sensing elements of spherical form in the set might be different. It is preferable to choose the number of elements in that set that is equal to the sum of the letters which form a part of an alphabet, and to the sum of the numbers which form a part of the natural series of numbers. All spherical sensing elements included in the set of such elements are rigidly fixed to the surface of the supporting element that is made. for example, in the form of a plate. The supporting element with fixed on this surface spherical sensing elements form the sensing unit. The transmitter and the receiver of signals have similar sensing units that ensure reproduction of the transferred information. It follows the theory of wave synthesis and laws of quantum mechanics that a thought converted into radiation can simultaneously have two quantum states. See, Isildovnia, I can't pronounce that, it's in Russian. See Grigori Grabovoi research and analysis of fundamental definitions of optical systems in prevention of catastrophes and forecast-orientated control of microprocessors. Electronic Engineering, Series 3, Microelectrics, 1999, Issue 1, 153, page 10. One of these states is on the sensing element of the transmitter of signals, and another one is on the similar. It is sensing element of the receiver of signals. In order to facilitate the work of the operator man who generates transferred information, it is preferable to distribute the spherical sensing elements evenly over the surface of the supporting element and to locate the centers of the spherical sensing elements in parallel planes, and also to locate these elements in the form of identical rows. Furthermore, there is an image of corresponding letter of the alphabet, number, or specific symbol painted on the surface of the supporting element of the transmitter of signals near each spherical sensing element. The spherical module with the fixed consecutive sensing elements inside, manufactured in the form of identical cubes made of crystal, can be used during the first stage, together with the use of the transmission of the information means of the spherical sensing elements, provided that there is a specific mutual agreement of the cubes. Normalization of radiation initiated by the thought of the operator man, which characterizes the combination of the specific letters of a word, will take place in the cubes. In the second stage of the transmission of information, radiation emitted by a spherical sensing element in accordance with the similarity principle without any delay, instantly in fact, is reproduced in a similar spherical sensing element, which is a part of the sensing unit of the receiver signals. Then radiation enters the spherical module of the receiver signals, which is made as one similar to the spherical module of the transmitter of signals. The spherical module of the receiver of the signals is executed then in the form of a glass sphere, which contains fixed distributed in one direction and displaced in two mutually perpendicular planes, sensing elements, manufactured in the form of identical cubes made of crystal. After radiation is entered, the first cube, the closest to the sensing unit of the receiver, the initial normalization of the radiation by the first cube will occur at that moment. When radiation emanating from the third cube passes through the fourth cube, the following action of normalization takes place with the passage of radiation through all the cubes. Light is selected as the data carrier due to the fact that this makes it possible to visualize and to record the laws of connections determined by this formula of general reality. Radiation, which is emitted by any spherical sensing element of the receiver of signals after normalization in the spherical module of the receiver, gets out of the cube, the outermost from the sensing unit. In this case, the value of the outgoing normalized radiation depends on the diameter of the spherical sensing element of the transmitter of signals that is possible to the radiating spherical sensing element of the receiver of signals. The sensing unit and the spherical module of this transmitter of signals are manufactured similar to the corresponding elements of the receiver signals. However, they might have different geometric dimensions. Thus, geometric dimensions of the elements of the receiver of the signals might 3 to 5 times exceed the dimensions of the equivalent components of the transmitter. An optical converter made in the form of a detector of radiation and microprocessor which converts the intensity of radiation into numerical data, or a sensor of normalized radiation connected with the last cube by means of the optical fiber and connected through the amplifier of electrical signal to the processor, which is programmed control, might be used as a device which converts radiation emerging from the last cube. The enclosed drawings show Figure 1 is the general view of the information carrying system, view in isometry. Figure 2 is the sensing unit front view. Figure 3 is a separate spherical sensing element that is fixed rigidly on the supporting element. The declared information carrying system contains sensing unit of the receiver of signals, which contains supporting element 2 with evenly distributed spherical sensing elements rigidly fixed over its surface. Number 3, spherical module of the transmitter of signals. Number 4, which contains glass sphere. Number 5, with fixed inside sensing elements. 6, made in the form of identical cubes, sensing unit of receiver of signals. 7, which is similar to the analogous unit of the transmitter of the signals, which also contains supporting element. 8, and the spherical sensing element. 9, rigidly fixed on it. Spherical module of the receiver of signals. 10, which is similar to the analogous module of the transmitter of signals, and also contains glass sphere. 11, with fixed inside sensing elements. 12, made in the form of identical cubes. Sensor of normalized radiation. 13, with connected to it the amplifier. 14, connected to the entrance of the processor. 15, with the program to control and connected to it display. 16, and recorder. 17, in this case, each spherical sensing element by means of fastening element. 18 is rigidly fixed on the surface of the supporting element. It is preferable to produce spherical sensing elements 3 and 9 from transparent material, for example, glass. The diameters of all sensing elements included in any sensing unit, for example, into the unit of the receiver of signals, must be different. At the same time, each diameter corresponds to a certain letter, number, or symbol. It is preferable to have gradually increasing diameters, for example, from 1 to 53 millimeters. In a similar way, the diameters of all spherical sensing elements of spherical form 9, which form part of the sensing unit of receiver of signals, must be different. Each spherical sensing element is fixed rigidly to the surface of the corresponding supporting element by means of fastening element 18, for example, by means of glue connection. It is preferable to locate spherical elements, sensing elements on the surface of the supporting element in the form of identical rows. See Figure 2, part of the elements. It is not indicated. In this case, the diameters of the elements gradually increase in each row. Each spherical module 4 or 10, see Figure 1, contains a glass sphere. For example, spherical module of transmitter of signals 4 contains glass sphere 5, with fixed inside and distributed along the straight line perpendicular to the surface of the supporting element 2, sensing element 6, made in the form of identical cubes, which, together with the sphere, form monolithic system. The number of the cubes might be equal to 7, 14, and so on. Usually 7 cubes are used. 6 or 12 are made of crystal, for example, diamond or rock crystal. The cubes consecutively located in the spherical module have different orientation of optical axes. The faces of adjacent cubes are located in parallel. Though the cubes are displaced in 2 mutually perpendicular planes, it is preferable to locate spherical module of the transmitter of signals in the center of the supporting element. The spherical module of the receiver of signals 10 is spaced from the sensing unit of the receiver's signals 7, preferably to a distance of 200 to 1,000 millimeters. The declared information carrying system works in the following way. Man who generates thought, acts as an operator, is not indicated that transmits information. Within 0.1 to 5 seconds, the time depends on the bioenergetic field of the man, the operator activates sensing elements. 3 of the sensing unit, transmitter of signals. 1, signals enter Point 1, the signals enter from the optical system of the operator are intensified by the spherical sensing elements. 3 of the transmitter of the signals without any delay actually immediately are reproduced in corresponding sensing elements. 9 of the receiver signals. In this case, the signal transferred the operator